Okay, and any second now, we will be live. It appears that we are now live. Okay, so I can
Oh,
begin
we weren't
speaking.
live to make my joke about finishing, motherfucker.
Oh boy. All right, well, ladies and gents, welcome to the GamerZone. Tonight, on the world's third greatest Kurt Cobain conspiracy theory and video game podcast, we are discussing many great things. Man, it's been a while since our last proper episode. It's been like maybe a month, I want to say.
Yeah,
Um,
since like a full crew like sit down and talk for an hour or whatever.
yeah. And like a little less than a month since we got together and did, the Andy and Scott talk for an hour or something. I don't really know what to call that.
That episode was sick because we were like, all right, let's keep like the opening chatter really like 15 minutes tops, and then I just kept cracking jokes.
Yeah.
It didn't stop.
And I was like, let's plan for an hour. And then we did like an hour and a half, and we were ready to go for like a full 2 hours. And then I was
Yeah.
like, wait, no, it's happening. It's happening.
Soon enough, we'll have like 5 hour episodes.
Castle
Five
Super
hours.
Beast is coming for us, and
We
we're
can't
coming
take
for
the
them.
gimmick.
We're coming for them.
Every time I open up Spotify and it's like podcasts for you, and it shows me the new Castle Super Beast one, it's like 4.5 hours. I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, it gets long. Also, hi everyone, I'm here.
Yeah, Trey's here.
You remember me from fucking Christmas?
Yeah. Yeah, well, the thing that one of the things that really gets me is that Trey, you were supposed to be around for an episode like a month and a half ago, and then you just kind of vanished into a Walmart.
Well,
He never came back out
I
until
hate that
now.
joke. That was the stupidest joke. Did was that ever
To be
discussed with you?
fair, the whole point of that is because of the fact that every single time I try to talk to you, you wouldn't respond for like an hour, and you'd be like, "Sorry, I was at Walmart."
Yeah,
Why-
it's not a
when-
joke, it's reality.
When
Yeah,
I
or
was-
like we're being in the middle of a game, you just go silent,
Well,
and then I don't hear from you for like an hour, and then you come back. Sorry, I had to go Walmart real
yeah,
quick.
well, when I was still living with my mother, that was like her request of me for the evening. A lot of times was just to go to Walmart and get something random. Usually like Dr. Pepper or chicken nuggets to make for dinner. And and she was the type of woman to where if she wanted it, that was it. That was the end of the discussion. I was gonna go get it. So yeah.
Trey, you're gonna get those fucking nuggies and you're gonna like it.
That's pretty much how it went. It was Dr. Pepper and chicken. That's like her diet is Dr. Pepper, coffee, and whatever food we have in the house.
I can't even talk
She-
shit. I've been ordering food and eating ramen for like 3 months.
She drink if she's like having a stressful day, she can drink 2 liters in one day just by herself.
That's
So,
horrible.
yeah.
Jesus.
So take
Alright,
that
cool.
how you will.
Welcome back to the show, Trey.
Yeah.
We missed
Mother-
having him here.
Your mother sounds like a classy
No, you
lady.
didn't. You're gonna regret this decision by the end of the evening.
Listen, I regretted a lot of decisions that I made last Christmas, like, for example, naming this show the Gamer _ Zone.
You don't understand, Mom. It's ironic.
Yeah, it's ironic, guys. Please stop
Definitely.
sending me hate
That is
mail.
100% yes, ironic.
Yeah, we're not gamers here at all. We talk
Yeah.
about music.
Yeah, we do. I talk about literally everything except fucking games.
Me being here, it doesn't help that that I have a job that requests me to be like free for a day for a full 24 hours. So
Yeah, you have like a real person job, all right? And stop flexing.
this is not a real person job. This is hell.
Yeah, that's what a real person job is.
Damn, you're right.
Listen, it's what I've learned from Amazon is that you're not actually employed if you don't cry every single time you go into work. So
You don't use your fucking bathroom breaks to just
You-
cry into the mirror.
You don't show up to work 10 minutes early and just have an existential crisis before clocking in, then what's the point?
right,
know.
honestly.
Be like 4 in the morning, you're in the parking lot, it's like January, so it's freezing cold outside. You can just see your breath, and you're just taking a long drag from a cigarette. You're like, why am I here? And then you go, you clock in, you spend 8 hours of your life doing some random bullshit.
This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife.
Welcome to the Gamer Zone, where we talk about existential dread. Enjoy your fucking stay.
Oh, so that's what that feeling is. I feel that every time I fucking wake up in the morning.
Dude, not this shit again.
What was it? I saw this thing where it was like, I don't have a sleep schedule. I just pass out and hope I don't wake up.
Dude,
I was like,
I
yeah.
tweeted it last night, but I was like, you know, it's fucked up when you're awake for your roommate going to bed and also awake for them going to work.
Yeah.
Because I did that and I kind of like stopped and I was like, maybe I should sleep.
Uh-oh.
Just maybe. Just maybe there's a chance.
My first, like, look at you being up early, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I definitely slept while you were asleep. That's what happened. I wasn't playing video games.
You ever
I wasn't
hear
kicking
of...
ass in Grand Blue Fantasy, the fighting game.
It's funnier than anything I could say, so I'm gonna shut up.
You shut your fucking mouth, Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew, get the fuck out. We're taking over.
I invite Trey back one time, and what happens is mutiny.
Immediate
I have
mutiny and spiraling.
$10, and that's enough money to buy the copyrights for the GamerZone. So,
Well,
guess
good
what?
luck, buddy, because we're not gonna be the GamerZone anymore. That's
Oh,
right.
segue.
That's how
I hope someone trademarked this so that we actually have a reason to change the name. Just
I mean,
like,
no,
well,
like the name's actually changing.
Yeah,
I know.
we're
Well,
Now the viewers know. We're announcing this to our viewers.
announcing
yeah.
it.
By the way,
Trey, you're no selling it.
By the way, we're changing the name and shit. Or at least Andy is.
Yeah.
Andy's kind of like. Andy's like.
Andy kind of owns us.
Andy is the brain. Scott is like the nervous system.
Emphasis on nervous.
Jordan is like the musculoskeletal system, and I'm like the appendix. You know, I don't really need to be there.
I don't know, man. I'm like the
You're the
second
liver
appendix.
because you're about to go any second.
Yeah,
And I'm about to break.
But is it at the end? And I'm about to break. We were talking about that earlier. What the fuck?
Fucking
also
a ripping good intro, boys.
I
We're doing
hope
great.
everyone here went onto the Steam webpage and got the THQ whatever it was. Like they had a sale, and like all 3 Darksiders games were on sale, or all of them really. I bought all of them.
That's a good
Good
investment.
games.
I've only ever gotten like 75% through like 2. That's as far as I've ever gotten. So I played 1 earlier today, and I was like, "Huh, this is interesting." And then
I've gotten like 75% through 1, and then I've beaten 2 like 3 times.
I beat
Never
like the
played 3.
I got through the tutorial, and then I played League with Jordan and Brianna, and played like.
You got through the tutorial, then you got a little bit itchy, and you were like, "Nah."
Well, I haven't played League in a solid 6 months, I think, and then Jordan got back into it, and I was
Holy
like,
shit!
"Well, shit."
Are you like emaciated? How much do you weigh?
Well, like I uninstalled it and everything, and it was like a good couple months, where especially like during that hiatus where I just wasn't online at all because I was trying to get adjusted to my new job, and and then I got back on. I was playing FF14, and I got to like level 80 with Miner and Botanist, and I got to level 60, I think, with Fisherman. And so I was like, well, it's time to take a break from this now. And that was right when 5.3 came out, too. So I re-downloaded League because Jordan was playing it, and I've been having fun, you know, for once. And like, because I just don't care anymore. Like, I really just have lost like I want to play ranked, not because it's like gonna give me something. It's just because like I feel like that's where I want to be when I play the game, because it'll be fun. You know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you could go ahead.
The difference between like whenever you play something like ranked and stuff like that is generally it just depends on like how low the elo is.
Yeah.
Because
You can run into some
depending
fun
on
stuff.
who it is, so some people just take the game way too seriously. Like if you lose that game, then they're gonna lose like their house.
Yeah, but in reality, when you lose a game, you lose like
Yeah,
10,
you
10
just play
LP, I
another
think.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
just play another one. That's all you gotta do.
yeah.
It's
Because that's
not
like
that
kind
big
of
a
the
deal.
same with Hearthstone. Because I played that ranked a little bit. I only ever get to like silver 5, and then like the month restarts. So I'm like, fuck it. But what a lot of people do is they'll get the legend, right? They'll be like the best of the best, and then the month will be over, and then they'll be put at like the bottom, and then they'll just meme the fuck out of everyone. They'll play like the stupidest decks that like barely work half the time, because like once you hit legend, like that's kind of it.
Yeah.
So you just have fun after that. You just meme.
You just played a video game.
Yeah, that's what legend is. It's like either a bunch of tryhards trying to rank to 1, or the other opposite end of the spectrum where they just don't give a fuck and they're trying
Yeah.
to like have
They're
fun.
they're so good that they can just kind of do whatever the fuck and see if it
Yeah,
works.
yeah. Like that, you can't do that in a fighting game. You know, when you're in a fighting game, it's very hard to like air quotes have fun by like playing fun. Like the only thing I could
Yeah,
think
this is
of,
kind of why I stopped playing them.
yeah, is the air quotes. Yeah, air quotes have fun. You play to win in every fighting game. Like even Smash Brothers, you play to win. At the end of the day, the only thing I could think of is that you meme to win. So basically, items of Smash Brothers, summon Shenron in Dragon Ball Fighter Z. You know,
Play
only
Arakune and fucking Blaze Blue.
only jab in Street Fighter. You know, only jab.
Low
So
kick.
like shit like that.
You just low kick. That's all you do.
You gotta
Just
play
low kick.
Dan.
I'm gonna play.
I
I'm
don't know.
gonna.
Dan can be pretty good if you know how to play.
Street
Back
Fighter
in-
Alpha 3 Dan, to specify.
Back in the day, when I was playing Street Fighter 4 with a couple of my friends, none of us were very good, obviously, but one of my friends played Sagat, and he was literally just throwing fireballs, and when my other friend would try to jump over them, he would just, like tiger uppercut him out of the air. And my friend who was on the receiving end of that was like, "These games are fucking stupid." Just got like, just fucking, just like threw his shit. And we were
Yeah,
like, "Damn."
yeah. It doesn't matter what context. If you are losing in a fighting game, you are losing your shit. Like, because it's just so degrading. Because you're not allowed to play the video game when you're losing a fighting game.
Oh, that's completely fair. I think of it this way. Colton, I love you dearly, but also I'm having
Fuck
horrible
you.
flashbacks to Blitz Tank. That Blitz Tank combo in Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle was horrifying. It haunts my dreams.
I actually had hella fun playing Blaze Blue, fuck, Grand Blue versus with Colt. Blaze
I
Blue
love you,
Fantasy
Cole.
versus.
I
No,
love
I
you,
had a lot of
Cole.
fun playing that with him, even though he like beat the shit out of me constantly.
Yeah.
It was still pretty fun.
I
That's
love
like
you.
that's like the one time.
I love you, Cole. You're very funny. You do a sick cover of 2012's Rush.
2012.
20 was it 20
Rush is 2112.
2112. All right, 2112. There we go. You do a good Rush 2112, but fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Well, I mean, whenever he does it, it's 2012.
So it is
Yes.
2012.
It feels like the world is ending.
all these things is that one part. It's like I stand atop.
A spiral
Okay,
stare. An
Yeah,
oracle.
Speaking of
awaits me
spirals, that's
there.
kind of what we're doing.
So that's our intro. That's our intro,
Uh-huh.
everybody.
Yeah, I was
That's
about to
the
say.
intro.
I was looking at the notes that you were like, we'll make this a little bit 10 minutes, and it's been like a solid.
We have not once ever followed that. We put it there to like try to seem professional, but then one of us makes a dick joke and we kind of just roll with it.
all right, guys, huddle up. We got a strict time schedule.
Strict time schedule. Okay, so like to actually cover the part in the notes about rebranding and to actually say what's kind of going on with that. Yeah, we are actually rebranding. I mean, shocker. We're not staying as the gamer _ zone forever.
Sponsored by Kurt Cobain's shotgun.
Yeah, we're changing some things around. Some of you who look at my Twitter profile can get the hint, but the rest of you who have smooth brains and can't do that,
Bro.
just wait. Don't worry, Jordan. It's okay.
Why
I
you
love
making
you.
fun
I
of my
love the
food
way you
brand?
said "get the hint." It was just like I feel like there's a bunch of people just like, if you don't like this, get the fuck out. First thing that came to mind.
But so yeah, no, we're gonna be doing this sometime in early to mid-November. I originally just wrote mid-November in the notes because I thought that's a good timing thing, but then I realized you've got Thanksgiving, you've got the next gen console launches, so I mean, I'm thinking maybe do it sometime a little before everything launches and the news is flooded with that, so that it's their next gen, it's our next gen. We can do this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And we are probably going to reset the podcast episodes to episode 1 when we get started with the new podcast under the new name. But we are going to have one crazy blowout when it comes time to actually take this podcast out back by the shed, and it's
And
then
fucking give it a
Jesus.
tombstone pile driver.
Jesus. God, I kind of regret making that Kurt Cobain shotgun.
Well,
joke now, 'cause
listen,
you're gonna-
there's a voice in the back of my head that was telling me to say
I'm sure
something
he
far
does, too.
worse than that. So
fucking this podcast
I'm
is
gonna
like
listen.
a horse with
This
only three
here's the
legs.
thing. What's going to happen in early November is this podcast is going to marry Courtney Love and turn up dead 36 hours later.
Yeah.
Listen, this podcast is like a horse with 4 legs, and in November it's gonna lose a race and it's gonna break one of its legs. And you know what happens after with the horse. You know what happens.
We're not turning this podcast into glue, Trey.
Just nurse it back to health. Easy.
we will glue from
It will
the
race again.
from the broken pieces of the gamers, and we'll glue back together this
You just
other
have to-
podcast.
You just have to believe, alright?
Yes. Honestly, next week I should totally still show up and just like every 5 minutes you hear the fucking alarm go off for the fire department.
Okay, well,
What's it called? Be right back, guys. Got to save some lives.
Save some diabetic fat people lives. That's all we do. God. There's been some interesting moments though, I will say. I got to fly a guy out like 2 weeks ago, I think. Or maybe last week, I don't remember.
Okay. Andy, you were about to say something?
well, that's our intro. Moving on.
Thank you.
Oh boy. Oh,
I can
boy.
sandbag anything except Trey. I would feel bad.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I just said I wouldn't sandbag you, you bitch.
Are we playing spades now all of a sudden?
Make up your mind.
Ugh. So, fellas, in the time since our last podcast, there's kind of been a little bit of news in the gaming circle. You might have heard of it. It's called the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, just a little.
I'm still kind of surprised they're like, okay, so we're gonna sell one where you can put a disc in. We're also gonna sell another one where you can't, right? The one with the disc is gonna cost more.
Yeah, that's the thing. Getting into it. Yeah, so Sony had a PlayStation event. I think it was last week, maybe around a little under a week ago, a little over a week ago. Time doesn't really flow normally anymore for me. So somewhere within the span of 7 days, give or take 7 days. And this happened to get announced after the Xbox Series S and everything leaked, and we can talk more about the Microsoft side of things after we finish covering the PlayStation event, but just this unending slew of leaks left and right from Microsoft. And so then people were saying, where's the price, Sony? Where's the price, Sony? We know everything about Xbox. Everything Xbox is going to do for the next 75 years is leaked. Okay, where's the price, Sony? And so after 3 painful days of waiting, Sony announced an announcement of an announcement that they were going to have a PlayStation event in a couple of days. And that event has come and went, got us the PlayStation 5 price, release date, as well as info on some games that are kind of relevant to us and our interests, I think.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. And they opened up the show with the announcement of Final Fantasy 16, which, man.
And I wept.
I creamed my pants when I saw that.
Yeah,
Thanks
I did
for the
that except
details, Trey.
I did that except from my eyes.
Nah, you don't understand.
what?
It's like they saw The Witcher 3 happened and how popular that got. And they were like, we're going to do that, but with Final Fantasy. And then the fucking Primal shit, all the Primals like leak boss shit that happened. That was epic. I liked it a lot. I liked it. I'm definitely buying that.
Jordan,
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking excited.
Jordan, do you have any thoughts on Final Fantasy 16? Did you see the trailer for that?
I saw bits and pieces. I haven't actually watched it.
Oh, okay.
Whew.
It's definitely worth looking into. The game's developed by the Heavensward development team, a team led by Yoshi P, who, we happen to know because we kind of spent a lot of time playing a certain video game that he has ties to.
Yeah.
And so this game looks very much like Final Fantasy XIV from an art style specifically. Like, you look at the character models and how faces look and everything, and this isn't like a graphical fidelity thing. This is just flat out like, this is the same art team. It's kind of indistinguishable, I think. And that's not a knock against it. I mean, I can't believe Van Gogh didn't switch up art styles every 3 paintings.
Yeah, exactly. Get some new material, you talentless fuck.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry.
It's okay,
Yes.
Scott, I appreciate you.
But
Scott,
16 looks incredible. I'm like so excited. And they have the dream team working on it too.
Right.
So like I have very high hopes, and I normally don't have those.
Yeah, and what really gets me is that, like, I feel like this game might come out sooner than a lot of people think, because, this is the first Final Fantasy game that's a specifically mainline Final Fantasy game to be unveiled in, I would say, well over a decade, actually, because Final Fantasy XIV got announced, I want to say 08, maybe 09, I could be wrong. But even still, the tech behind that got shown off in 2006 as Project Rapture. So if you want to count Project Rapture as the announcement, which was around the same time that Final Fantasy Versus 13 and 13 got announced, and
Yeah.
we have not seen any original material for a mainline game.
What about Final Fantasy 15?
That was Versus 13.
It was Versus 13 and then got turned into that.
Was.
Yeah. That game was in development hell
For so long. And
Right.
it shows.
Yep. And so, like,
Yeah, I was about to say it was released in 2016.
mhm.
So that the last mainline was released in 2016, which was 4 years ago.
Mhm.
But that I remember what you're talking about, the Versus 13. When did that come out? Was that like 2012 almost?
No, Final Fantasy 13 released in 2009, but Versus 13 was a separate thing entirely that got, I want to say it was announced alongside it. It was like,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
yeah, it was like 06 or something, and the entire vision for Versus got turned into 15.
Yeah.
So for all original
like,
content, this is our first time in like 14 years.
2006.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do not understand how long like Versus 13 had been like a pipe dream thing.
14 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you were like
15
2.
Announced in 2013. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's been a while. And it's like between the trio of, you have Kingdom Hearts 3, which, if we're being honest, KH3 did have a longer than average development, but wasn't really in development as long as people seem to think it was, because they assume that the handheld titles don't matter. Whoops. Sorry for them. But then you have Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was in development hell, and thankfully got saved from that and turned out way better than it had any right to. The game originally started development, funny enough, by CyberConnect 2 and the Dot Hack team, and that apparently didn't work out. So then it got thrown onto Nomura without Nomura even knowing it first. They were just, some Square executives walked up to him and were like, "Hey, so you're leading the Final Fantasy VII Remake project now?" And he's like, "Well, great."
Oh, okay.
Well, shit.
Well, I mean, someone's got to do it.
Fuck you guys for making me bring up all these time frames. I looked up the Persona 5 release date. It was September of 2016. I feel like an old shitbag right now.
Yeah,
Well,
because
to
you
be
are.
fair, did not come
Well-
out in the States until 2017, so
I guess.
we're still
I
waiting on that Persona
remember.
5 Scramble release.
Yeah,
Take a
that
fucking
was
compliment, Trey. God.
yeah. I think the FF7 remake was that really good? I
It
feel like it
was.
was.
Yeah, I
Uh,
liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was incredibly good. I have like I could go on,
Because
but yeah, overall I thought it was really good.
the past content for Final Fantasy has been fairly exceptional when you think about it. Like 14 had a rough start, and then Yoshi P came in and just made it amazing, made it
Mhm.
fantastic. A lot of people were shitting on 13, but what I have played, it was pretty decent. You know, it wasn't the worst thing out there.
13 is, I would say, rightfully divisive, but still a good game.
It's
Yes,
really disappointing, just like in comparison to the rest of the series.
that is a
Yeah,
good way
yeah.
to put it. The remake came out, and that was very excellent. The first version of 15 was good, but it didn't have a lot of content. And
Yeah,
then,
I beat 15 at launch, and
yeah, me
wow,
too.
that was some shit.
Yeah, no, I was fine with the original version. I was like, wow, this is a really fun game. And I played it like I beat it twice. And then the updates came out where it was like they added all that extra shit. And I was like, wait, there's more video game. Wait, this wasn't it. You shitbags held out on me. And I was like pissed for a solid 5 days, and then I played the extra content.
I'm still mad that the RNA DLC didn't get made.
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
thing about 15 that 15 was in development hell from Versus 13 onwards, and then the development hell just kind of never ended because they were like, yeah, we're gonna develop more. We're just gonna keep developing until Square executives walked in and pulled the plug and said, "Fuck you." The rest of the stuff you wanted to make as DLC, that is now gonna be all compressed into a book. Congratulations, get to writing, buddy.
Yeah,
And it's like, and then they just like,
fucking Bronze Star. There was an attempt. Now get to fucking writing.
yeah, and it's like, man. But so between that, the remake and KH3 and all that, and the exceptionally long dev times across the board, or at least at the very least above average, there's this kind of feeling that's kind of natural, I would say, that it's like you look at Final Fantasy 16, you say to yourself, well, I will see more about this in 6 years, which was my initial reaction, half joking, half serious. But I mean, thinking it over, a huge part of those games that you look over, like Versus 13, KH3, and 7 Remake, you gotta consider just how much Nomura had on his plate, and also the fact that I do genuinely believe that Nomura might not be the best at management. Shocking, you know.
Yeah.
Certainly not helped though by Square literally just walking up to him and saying, "Hey, buddy, you're in charge of 7 Remake now."
Yeah.
But even prior to that, I mean, Versus 13 was just like this unending train wreck when it comes to development, and I really am curious to hear more about the story behind that one day.
Yeah. A lot of companies that like e.g. Sony and Square, they hold these super high expectations because they set a date, right? Let's say this game, it's like, okay, you're starting this game right now, and in exactly 2 years from now, it better be done, or else we're shipping it. I don't care, right?
Yeah.
And it all comes back on you if it isn't perfect exactly how you want it. All right, we have no consequences for this. Here's your date. If you don't meet it, you don't get paid. So they are forced in this time constriction where if they have all these ideas and like, just wait a minute, I need more time, then they say, no, you're not getting that time. You can patch it later. We need it now. That kind of ideology is kind of like everyone was shitting on Bethesda. And guess what happened to Bethesda, people?
We're talking about that later in the show. This is how we keep the viewers around.
I appreciate the attempt.
I tried, but
it was pretty good.
I tried.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
But there is still plenty to talk about with Sony and Square now.
Yeah.
So stick to your day job of saving diabetic people.
I do want to talk about 16. I want to talk about that a lot. That looked like an interesting game. I don't know what's up with the main character. I think it's going to be one of those games where the main character doesn't speak, or like
he definitely will. I don't think. Okay, Scott can maybe correct me on this. Have we had a silent mainline Final Fantasy protagonist?
No.
There's
what
your
about
answer.
The first two games?
Well, I mean, like,
Did they
there's
talk in the first
like,
games?
oh, God, I haven't played one in so long. I forget if like your party members actually say anything, or if you just
I-
get directions and like go do shit.
I think
It's
that's
been
all
so
you
long.
do. You just get directions.
Yeah,
Probably.
like
But the point is that like most of the protagonists have a very defined personality and
Yes.
speak, and if
I-
there's
Yeah, I think it will be a very excellent game. They have a very good base just
Mhm,
from like
mhm.
what you can see. They have a very good engine. Like it looks good. The content looks really good. It's just going to be a beat 'em up, kind of like hack and slash.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use
No,
those
Let
no.
me
words.
rephrase
Okay,
that. I
okay, let me
don't-
put it this way. The combat director for Final Fantasy 16 is the same combat director as Devil May Cry and Dragon's Dogma.
If you call either of those a beat 'em up, I will beat you up.
Okay, listen. All right, it's a okay. What would you call it then?
Character
An
action game.
Character
Beat 'em ups,
action.
beat 'em ups are like Streets of Rage and shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a character action game, right?
Sure.
Yeah, with
That's what it looks
RPG
like.
elements. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that's just literally what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
So the only things we don't know are the story and like the true content of the game, like what exactly is going to be happening in the game other than fighting monsters, right?
Right. And I'm really interested. They said that they said two things. They said they would not be showing any content about FF16 until next year, aside from the trailer we just got.
Okay,
And
that's
they-
actually a good decision in my opinion.
And they said go wild with your theories. So I am more than willing to go wild with my
okay.
theories.
I've got a theory where the Shiva from that game comes out of my PS5 and marries me. That's what
That
I
is,
think.
you know what? I was just going to talk about that, Andy. It looks like we're going to have to fight to the death.
Did you just call me Andy?
Yes.
No.
He did.
Okay.
No, I didn't. What are you talking about? Scott, my very dear friend who I would
Very
never
close
mistake.
friend who
Scott.
sounds nothing like Mr. Bennett.
Scott. All right.
Do I have to start
listen.
putting on like a really stereotypical accent? for you to
No.
distinguish
Yeehaw!
us?
Oh, hey, I love being in Canada. I love to go on out to the Tim Hortons in the morning and get my cup of coffee and think about how the Maple Leafs are going to do today.
Well, I'll tell you what, partner. It sure is cold up here in Canada.
Yeah, I tell you what,
I tell you
it
what.
went- it is exactly 55 degrees tonight in Alabama, and I am loving it. No, I real quick on an aside, I woke up early for work, and I went outside to go take a piss because that's what I do in the morning.
Thanks
I
for
go
the
outside.
details, Trey.
Right? That's the first thing I do in the morning. It's like I gotta piss. I like to do it outside, right? And it was cold, and I was the happiest man in that morning because the day prior, you could literally walk outside and you were immediately like just fucking dripping with sweat. Right? It's starting to get cold, and I'm happy. It's dry and cold. It's the very opposite of like Alabama weather, which is like moist and hot.
Scott, there's a
Like,
way to
yeah.
transition to Demon's Souls from this, right?
I mean, there's
it's like
an
the fiery,
item
the
called Sticky
fiery
White Stuff.
hell down here. You know, like the hell of a game that Demon Souls is. 10 out of 10.
Kind of like the boss arena you fight the Flame Lurker in Demon Souls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so aside from FF16, one of the other things that got shown off at Sony's PS5 event was the remake of Demon's Souls, which you saw a little bit of information about at their prior PS5 announce. And they confirmed a couple things about it. They showed off I would say a minute or two of edited gameplay.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And they announced it's going to be a launch title, and then they accidentally announced it was coming to PC. Then they corrected that it wasn't coming to PC. Then they uploaded a trailer with a different type of title screen saying it was coming to PC. Then they said no, it's not coming to PC. And then they uploaded another trailer that said it was also coming to other consoles, and they said no, it's not coming to other consoles. Somebody please stop our marketing department.
And then Andy took a deep breath.
And I had a good hearty laugh.
Yeah, me too. It wasn't really a laugh. It was more of a guffaw, I think. But still.
I am truly excited for the Demon Souls remake because I love the Souls series. I love 1 through 3. 1 is my baby. I love Dark Souls 1, and I played that game to shit. You know, 2 was a lot of fun, even though people tried to give it shit. 3 was excellent. Bloodborne was fantastic. I'm still waiting for Bloodborne 2. But Demon Souls was the one game I never played. The one that like kind of
secondary. Fucking leave.
air quote air quote started it all, and I'm really excited to play that. Even though
It's
like,
one of my favorite games of all time.
yes, is the
Yeah,
Demon
genuinely.
Souls? Is it just a remaster, or will there be extra content?
I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be a remaster. Like in the
Um,
original game, because in the original game there was like you use archstones to like teleport to your locations, right? And there was like a sixth archstone that was broken. That was like always really mysterious, but then nothing ever came of that. So I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
this is interesting because it appears to be somewhere between remake and remaster. There's some assets that do appear to be reused from the original game but heavily tweaked. Like people have been doing like deep dives on the dirt textures of all things, which is one of my favorite and least favorite sides of Twitter because you get people that are so, and I say this in a good way, a very positive way, tech obsessed, that they need to know every single detail about the engine this thing is running on. But at the same time, I just kind of look at that and I'm like, you're analyzing dirt textures. You are,
Yeah.
in this current moment of history, analyzing dirt. Video
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
fictional dirt to count the pixels.
I mean, that's what my ancient ancestors did. You know, they walked outside of their cave and they looked at the dirt and they were like, "Oh, this dirt's gray, this dirt's brown."
Yeah.
And
Mine came out of the water and was like, yeah, I guess I'll just evolve now. And I've hated him ever since.
this bastard fish over here grew legs. Now I'd have to do taxes. Yeah. Jordan, what do you think of Demon Souls? Will you be playing it?
I might. It's really a thing that I've been kind of iffy on, like Souls, like for a while now.
It's just I don't know.
I just
compared,
played a lot of them that
Yeah,
I'm
I've played like most. I've played like the mainline ones. I played like a bunch of Souls likes, but like that's kind of just like crack. I'm just like, no, I'll take that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I
like
have nothing against the game. I still have to. There's still a lot of games I need to go back and finish. Like I need to finish all the DLC for Dark Souls 3.
Like,
I'd like to do that. I'd like to finish up. What is it called? Sekiro.
oh yeah, Sekiro's good.
Yeah, I need to finish that, and then
But yeah, I've played so many. I think like yeah, all the mainline ones. There's like those fucking side like those Souls likes. You know, there's like what's it, Lords of the Fallen, the Surge, Salt and Sanctuary. Like just strap me into a fucking IV because I will keep playing them.
I was about to say, like you were so like obsessed with like the Souls series. Like the Souls series is crack, and then like the Souls likes are like street crack. You know?
Yeah, they have like that. They're kind of cut like a lot of filler.
Yes.
You know, not good shit, but it's the only shit you can get.
I haven't played a lot of Souls like. I've played only the mainline games really, and
That's fine.
the only one I beat was one, and I beat that game 15 different times.
Mhm.
Half of those were New Game Plus, and I haven't beat the other ones. I've only played them. I got really close in 3, but I stopped playing it. And like I said, I want to do Demon Souls because like that's like where it started. You know, the thick blood. Like, you know,
yeah. Demon Souls is like what's the word? Groundbreaking. Yeah, like playing that when it came out was like holy fuck. Like wait, I can look at a bloodstain and see how someone died, and your fucking brain is like exploding. You're like holy shit, right? There's like all these like really cool elements that like you didn't really see much before, and then it was like really difficult, but not in a way that was like too bullshit. It like kind of like felt like you were playing some like old school shit, the kind of shit that was made to like wring kids of their quarters to keep retrying over and over again.
Yes.
But yeah, no, Demons is one of my favorites. It's my favorite Souls game and like one of my favorite games in general. I just think it's, aside from what I just said, like its atmosphere is pretty unmatched.
Yeah.
Like I always just felt like really oppressed playing it. I was just like, wow, everything kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. No, that is a very good aesthetic for all the games. It's just you wake up, and it just everything sucks.
Well, the Tower of Latria's whole gimmick is that it's a horrible dungeon where people are tortured and turned into monsters, and you can hear them like screaming in the distance as you're walking around, and you're just like, yeah, this is cool. I want to be here.
Uh,
There's literal mind flayers walking around. ringing their little like lanterns, and if they catch you, it's like, oh god, it genuinely feels like a fucking horror game. Like it's so good.
Yeah, that is the one thing that always catches you off guard with the games is that there are horror elements. Because
Yeah.
I remember when I first played Dark Souls 1, I about had a heart attack every time I turned a corner, straight up. But you know, it was really scary, and you got to fight. You get to play Demon Souls soon. But
Yeah.
you know, with the demons, you know what another name for demons are?
What are you doing?
Devils. You know
I
what?
see where
Like,
you're going with this, Trey.
an epic game of 2019, Devil May Cry 5, that is getting updated with the new PS5 as a launch title. Hit it, Andy!
Okay, Trey, if you're gonna force me into this, I'm gonna go and follow my own show notes, you monster, you heartless, cruel cretin.
Also, can we ban this guy in chat? He's
The
just-
bot, yeah. So here's the funny thing. From stream management, it won't
I
let
didn't
me.
even notice.
Yeah, I'm in like stream management, and it wouldn't let me moderate.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's literally just the computers where it's like you have to be the
It's
admin.
literally
like, I
it's
own you!
like Stream Manager is literally the management station for all this, and it won't let me moderate the chat. Somebody thought this was a great idea.
You have to be the owner of this computer.
So
do
I
this
had to
action.
fire this up in my other account, which is set as a mod for the channel. And so I go to the chat, and whoops, it won't load previous messages because it's a new chat one. So I can't delete that. Now, thankfully, we don't have chat on screen. So thankfully,
don't let
you're
the
not
bot-
going to see the
don't let the
spam
bot
message there.
Fucking
But yeah.
derail us.
What does
Right
it
now.
say?
Oh, it's don't say the full message. But it's just trying to sell followers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
don't
it's
know
like
about that
it's
one.
harmless and all, but I
It's still
really
a bot, it
really
shouldn't be there.
I hit block on it, but that's and
You
I
report.
you know the best part is when I reported it and I hit it's sending spam messages and they were like, could you please elaborate? And I'm just like, it's spam, please get it off of my channel, submit. Ugh.
Oh well. These
But
things
yeah.
happen.
You know, I mean, if I was Dante from Devil May Cry, I wouldn't be mad. I'd just eat a pizza.
Yeah, I would just eat a
Yeah.
pizza and not have sex.
Still love that scene. Still love that scene where the lady gives him a hat and then he does the Michael Jackson.
It's so fucking good.
Devil May
I
Cry 5
remember-
is a
yeah.
very good game, which is why I'm more than happy to play it again as Virgil.
Yeah.
Virgil.
I just like someone was like playing that game, he was streaming it, and he's like, I hate this game. It makes no fucking sense. What is happening? And then that scene happened, and then he just closed the stream.
Sounds like a coward to me.
Yeah, I just don't really. I don't know why he did that, but he did.
Cool.
Yeah,
What a bitch.
I plan on buying the PS5 eventually.
Yeah,
if
I don't know if I'm
not,
gonna get it right away or not. Because like I really obviously I want to play demons, but
I would-
like
I would rather get it in like a bundle, you know, with
Yeah.
Demon Souls. If they do that, if they don't do that, then I'll just have to wait.
Now, that's the
But,
thing. Like the only launch titles that really interest me for the consoles is like Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, which is like I'm interested to hear Jordan's thoughts on because the whole status with it being a console title and a PC title is kind of weird. Where like on launch day the game will be available digitally, and it will be the only version of the game that you can play as Virgil in. It's also got a mode called Legendary Dark Knight, which is actually from the PC release of Devil May Cry 4, where it just spawns more enemies until the system can't take it anymore and starts to drop frames. It's
Oh.
brutally difficult. Now
it's so fun.
that was in the PC release of DMC4 back in the day, and then got put to consoles with the special edition. And they're not putting that on PC. They're not putting turbo mode on PC. They said that at a later point in time, Virgil will be a separate purchase. But for the time being, for some whatever period of time, this is going to be. They didn't give a time frame at all. That it's going to be exclusive to the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. And there will be no legacy discount. There will be no free upgrade. There will be no cheap upgrade. It's a full $40 to buy the game again.
Shit.
Well, That sucks.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting on that then. I was considering buying it, but I'm probably have to pass on that one.
Well, it
Yeah.
says it's not coming to PC for a while, anyways, right?
Yeah, and they said that only Virgil would be coming to PC. They said they wouldn't be bringing over Legendary Dark Knight to PC, despite the fact it started life as a PC exclusive mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's really funny.
I don't get why. Very specifically, like Sony. I'll give Nintendo a pass on this step, but so very specifically, Sony is like hanging on to like their exclusivity, even though they're having some branching
Well, I mean, this
out.
is a Capcom game, and
Yeah.
and it's not exclusive fully to one console. I mean, it's Xbox Series X and PS5 both on launch day.
I don't.
It's
I don't know
weird. I mean, this is the same company that still hasn't brought over the actually good version of DMC Devil May Cry to PC, so like whatever. You know, the one that actually runs at 60 FPS?
Yeah, I know. I found that out the hard way whenever I got it on PC for the first time. I was like, woo, I
Oh,
can play
no.
with the new targeting system. Because I played it a lot on 360, and then I got it on PC and found out, oh, it doesn't have that. For some reason.
Yep. And, you know, while we're talking Devil May Cry, and specifically DMC Devil May Cry, I gotta say, I think the funniest change they made in the special edition for that was that they removed Virgil's fedora.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like.
Milady.
They shouldn't have, but it's just really funny that they did.
Personally, I think like most of the other definitive edition things for DMC was that you could toggle it on off in the menu, like the targeting system and shortcuts for Stinger and stuff. And it's like, why isn't there a Virgil fedora toggle? I want to see I want to see DMC Virgil's awful looking fedora in 4K, 60 frames per second. Am I a madman?
please.
Yes.
See, that's what kept it from running at 4K before.
Yeah, there was some fucking spaghetti code with the fedora.
Yes.
Virgil's fedora is like 75,000 polygons.
Yeah, it's like 2B's ass. Like
Yeah, except I actually like Virgil's fedora.
exactly. See, this guy gets it.
I'm an A2 guy, I'm sorry.
I kind of want to get into DMC. Half of me kind of doesn't, because I feel like I just wouldn't want to play the games. It's, you know, like when you look at a game and you're like, wow, I would find that fun for a solid hour, and then I wouldn't play it again. You know,
Trey, what
I've
consoles
got
do you
to-
have right now?
If you would get DMC 5 on PC, bro, we could run a Bloody Palace.
we totally could, Jordan. We totally could.
Yeah.
But
There's,
Trey, I gotta ask you, what consoles do you have right now?
Can I say all of them?
Yeah, if
sure.
you have all of them, then say you
have
have all of them.
I'm just gonna list everything I own that's in my name. I have a PC, a Switch, a PS4, a PS2, a GameCube, a Wii, and 2 3DSs.
You're pretty well set up to play the best version of DMC3 because the Switch version of Devil May Cry 3 only, which currently goes for $20, goes on sale for $15, was reworked for the Switch and features a lot of stuff that was popular on the poorly optimized PC version as mods, like big improvements to the gameplay, like the style switcher and all.
Style switch, yeah.
Yeah, but then it also has co-op Bloody Palace locally, where one person has one Joy-Con, the other person has the other, and you get to play co-op as Dante and Virgil. But if you got $20 to spare and you consider that a fine enough amount of money to spend on a game you might be kind of uncertain on, I would say you can't really go wrong with Devil May Cry 3 with those improvements. 5 has the best combat system in the series, but 3 as a starting point and also as like an overall package is still like one of my favorite games of all time. Especially with those improvements in mind. So that is the game I would say to play if you're like, I don't know if I'll like Devil May Cry or not. It's peak DMC in all of its areas. It's one of the most stylish games you'll ever check out.
Yeah.
We'll keep that in mind.
It's also probably a perfect game for Halloween too. So like, you know.
Okay.
DMC 1 is the perfect Halloween DMC.
Actually,
game,
yeah.
But 3 is more.
Well, 3.
Fun.
Well, 3's storyline is
3 is
basically
more for Arbor Day.
three. Yeah. But three's storyline is like a ridiculously fun, action-packed horror B movie. I think.
Yes.
I mean that bit where, ladies launching rockets while riding a motorcycle up the side of a building. I mean, yeah, that kind of speaks to me.
I don't know, man. One of my favorite parts is whenever Dante's just sprinting down the side of the freaking building.
Yeah. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, and I don't know if you guys already talked about this or not on our previous podcast, but like, I just want to say real quick, it's just that I'm so fucking excited for Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Nocturne to come out on the Switch. I am hype. Like, I am fucking pumped for those games.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Likewise.
I am pre-ordering that shit if I can. I don't know if it's already is out on pre-order. I haven't checked.
I don't think it is. But
like, I like day one. That's all I'm playing. I love Shin Megami Tensei, and I cannot wait to play Nocturne, and I cannot wait to play 5.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of 4, and I loved it, and I just haven't played it in a hot
I
minute.
like 4 and 4 Apocalypse a lot. I mean, like all of them, but like I really recommend 4.
Apparently 3 was like the game to play.
Yeah,
So-
that most people say it's the best one, and they're definitely not wrong. I don't know. You can't really go wrong with like any of them, really. I just like 4.
Yeah, but yeah. just real
I
quick.
think what I'm most excited for with the Nocturne remaster, is I guess just kind of getting to see an already beautiful PlayStation 2 game, with actual work put in by the actual artists to get that thing running in HD. Like I'm excited. I think I don't know, like I saw screenshots of the PS2 version of that game, and I think it kind of changed my entire perspective on art styles in video games.
Mhm.
It's like it is possible to make something that, regardless of any technical improvement, will age perfectly, and that is the case of SMT Nocturne. But yeah. Video games.
I've only really seen a couple tweets and mentions about the Sony thing. So what other games are coming out?
A whole lot of stuff I wasn't interested in for
Yeah.
$70 a piece.
Really?
Yeah, $70 seems to be the new norm for this gen, which
Okay. I'm okay with that. Video games have gotten to the point where
Wait,
there's
how much do you spend on a brand new game in America?
60.
60 roughly.
I spent 80.
Really?
You're probably
Yeah.
going to be spending like 100 now.
Woo! Canada
Oh,
dollar, baby.
no.
And this is the thing. This is the thing about, like, you mentioned earlier about the discless and disc PlayStation 5. The discless PlayStation 5 is $100 cheaper, but they are going to make that money way back up on digital game sales because you can't buy anything used.
Yeah.
60.
But then you
Yeah.
look at the disc version for $100 more, and it's like, I don't know how long it's going to take these game prices to go down, because we're entering unknown territory with the prices here, and it
It's
could
gonna be
drop.
hot.
But I think for the first 2 years of its existence, it's going to be very much like a Nintendo market where it hardly ever goes down.
Yeah.
But I do think that $70 is a price point that a lot of video games are going to die at. And I do also genuinely believe that I am less okay with the jump to $70 on games that are, you're always online, super multiplayer, microtransaction-filled electric boogaloo. You know the type. It's called The Division. It's also Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's also Anthem. It's also, you go down the list. And all the NBA 2K games, every game 2K releases actually, with 2K in its name specifically. The ones that are just like constantly at it, like, that should not be sold for $70. You cannot take the argument to me and say, well, we need to pay the developers more. Okay, why don't you let them unionize?
Yeah.
Ew, wait, what? Ew, no, don't say that.
Why don't
Why would we
you
ever do
pay them a
that?
living wage and not crunch them to death if you want to say for the developers? And if you
Ew.
want to say for the
Shut up.
developers, I feel
Shut
like you
up.
have no right to say you don't have enough money to produce your game when you're stuffing it with all this stuff and making thousands of dollars a day on selling 7-year-olds 7-year-old skins in games. It's like, come on now, buddy. Come on. Who do you think you're trying to fool?
How am I gonna pay for my yacht otherwise? You fucking commie.
I'm sorry.
There's a point to be made that these games are getting more expensive to be made, and the price would eventually go up. Like that was an inevitability. And there's also another point to be made where a lot of the games that are coming out right now, microtransaction heavy, and pay money for skins or pay money to win the game. That's coming out, and then at the same time, your developers aren't being paid more, and they're giving less time to work on the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
the industry's in a real bad state right now, and I
Yeah.
think we're about to see the snake eat its own tail.
pretty much, that's a good way to. But me personally, I will state this: I would rather wait an extra 6 months for a good game that is worth $70 than a bad game for $70 where I have to wait a year for it to be good. Because by the time it's released, they're gonna be putting effort into a whole other game.
Right.
Yeah.
By around the time, like a little bit before the release, they will be starting to work on another game entirely. They're just wrapping it up, and they will have a completely separate division devoted to updating the game, which will take a lot longer.
Yeah. And this kind of
Which
goes
is
back
why-
to the Final Fantasy 15 development, I think, where they just wouldn't stop working on 15 until corporate stepped in.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And
But yeah, I mean, I'm
yeah.
more willing to spend $70 though on a single player title though. Like,
I'm willing to pay 70. Like it really isn't that much of a difference for me personally. But I know a lot
I
of people.
already have like a brutally hard time paying $60 for a game, which is like,
You can't make a hard thing harder.
I mean, you can pretty
100.
easily,
If you double the price,
but it's like
then
I am. How do I put this? The only platform that I've really bought full price games for over the course of this year. Actually, let's see. I bought Final Fantasy VII Remake at full price, and I had already like budgeted money away so that I would have the ability to drop 60 on that prior. Just put 10 away here, 10 away there. And then when I got my Switch, I bought Xenoblade Chronicles for 60 because Xenoblade is a game that, I mean, aside from the fact that, like, obviously I'm not making these purchases when I'm financially unable to, or if it's going to put me in a shaky position, I don't do that. So I was in a good position, and on top of that, it's a Nintendo game. I know the price isn't going to drop, but even more on top of that, I know that that game is, this is a time-tested good game. It's been, the original Xenoblade was 10 years ago. It's a good game. And it's also got like 100 hours worth of content, so who am I to complain if I drop $60 on it?
Mm-hmm.
That really isn't the case for most of these titles they want to charge 70 for. Like the one exception here being Demon's Souls, which Demon's Souls for 70 I don't see much of an issue with. But then also there was this title that got shown off called Destruction All-Stars that we got like one fully CGI trailer of, that they were like, yeah, this is $70. And it's like, I don't even know how your game plays.
Yeah.
And it seems to be some like always online multiplayer deal, and it's like, you want me to pay $70 for that when you might shut the servers down in 7 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, idiot. Don't think about that. Just do it.
It's like that's where my problems come in. But yeah, it's an interesting situation. I guess we can kind of move away a bit from the PS5 discussion, because like I think it over, and it's like, when it comes to paying full price, when it comes to games on my Xbox and my PC, it's like PC has been cheap game heaven for like 10 years now. You've got your game bundles, you've got your Steam sales. You very rarely buy anything at full price. But then Xbox is moving into that territory where their sales have been ramping up over the past 2 years constantly to try and match PC territory. But then on top of that, you have Game Pass, which is also available on PC, so it's a factor there, but it's not exactly like PC games were expensive before. But in the case of my Xbox, it's like every single Microsoft title is going to go to Game Pass. And I don't really want to spend all that money up front once, so I'm fine with spending $15 a month when I was going to pay $10 a month for gold anyways, for an extra $5 a month to have access to all those titles and more. And it's like, I don't want to sound like an advertisement, but like, it works really good for me. I mean, I get to play all sorts of stuff like that. Jordan, there was something like like a couple weeks back that like the day it released, it went into Game Pass on PC, and I was actually able to hop in and play that with you guys. I can't remember what it was.
Trying to think. You said it was on.
Was
What was it for the King?
I think it might have been for the King. Yeah, that just like I don't know if it released into Game Pass or it just released on Game Pass. But we got to play that together. Dean and I got to play stuff like the Age of Empires remasters together. It's like it makes it very accessible for me. And people question the sustainability of it, which, I mean, the Microsoft financials charts show that it's doing pretty good. So that's a whole topic in and of itself that I could talk about for 30 minutes, going into the actual specifics of the math on that, and I'm not going to bore you with that. But like, I don't know. It's like when I think of the future of buying games, I see myself buying fewer and fewer games and just subscribing to services instead, because I can take that 10.5 a month. It's like it's less about how much money I pay over time and much more about how much money can I spend from this paycheck. It's
Yeah, how much money do I have currently? I see a lot of people who are like that. They're like, "Oh, will you pay more in the long run?" And it's like, yeah, like, but I'm paying less every month to get the same amount of games that I probably would, or more games even.
Right.
It's less of like splurge where you're taking the money out of your check and putting it aside to more of a like this is the money out of the check and it's already gone to the thing, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And you could do the math and see how much money you would have to pay and like how much time you could spend on a video game and like how many video games there are. You could do the math and like figure out exactly like when to say no, because they let you say no pretty well. Like you just go into your Microsoft account and cancel the next subscription, and you just have the rest of the month.
Yeah.
So you wanted like to play a game and you're not going to play it for long or like a couple games, then you just spend 15 that month, you play both of them and you're just done, and like that's it, you don't spend anymore.
Right. Well, that's
that's
also,
right.
I mean, I'll also say that there's a lot of games that I've played only through Game Pass because I'm only interested in them because I don't have to pay extra to check them out. And then I end up really enjoying those. Like, I was kind of iffy on Slay the Spire because I was like, okay, it's a roguelike. I don't like roguelikes. Unless it's like Spelunky. Spelunky is kind of like the perfect granddaddy of roguelikes for me. I'm always happy to go back to that. But anything else, there's a lot of really bad ones out there. And so I saw that and I was like, okay, that's a point against it, but it's a card game and I like those. So like, let's check it out. And I'm like, well, okay, it's on Game Pass. I can just boot up Game Pass, check that out. And I did, and I love it. It's a great game. Heavily worth. I would buy it now. In fact, I probably will if it ever goes to leave Game Pass. So like, that's a situation where I wasn't going to buy that game. I got to try it out, and now I will. And it's very weird to me because this is almost starting to sound a lot like some of the same arguments that people make for piracy, except for the fact that like I'm actually spending money here. This is actually legal, and I don't have to worry about seed boxes or whatever.
So literally the exact same argument, except you're just like, well, I'm gonna try it for $15 before I buy it.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, really.
Well, speaking of Microsoft and making a bunch of money, they spent a lot of money recently buying Bethesda.
Yeah. You know, Trey
is banging them out tonight. Holy
Trey,
shit.
we need to get you on here more often. You have the professionalism that I left in the husk of my soul. So,
and I never had any.
They bought Bethesda and they're trying to make them get married again with Obsidian. So it's gonna get interesting in the next couple.
It's like when you take your Barbie and your Ken doll and you smash them together.
Well, here's the beautiful part about Microsoft buying Bethesda. Actually, before I say that, Trey, do you want to read the official show note on this, because I know you liked it earlier?
Sure. Oh yes. This is a beautiful. I love the way he did this. Microsoft bought Bethesda. What the fuck? They own everything. They bought all of ZeniMax. They own Doom. They own fucking Doom. $7.5 billion got spent to make this happen, likely made possible by ZeniMax higher-ups becoming less interested as they work on their own companies, combined with the Bethesda's recent financial failures like Fallout 76, Dishonored 2, The Evil Within 2, and Prey 2017. Never a truer statement has been spoken on this show.
Wait, Evil Within 2 was a failure?
Financially, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh,
was.
here's the fun part.
Prey 2017 was a great game, but guess what? Made no money.
Wait, well, here's the thing.
Okay.
I checked like before. I was considering buying this because, and this was before the news of the Bethesda buyout, but there was a copy of The Evil Within 2 for the Xbox up on Amazon for $6. Same went for Prey. And Dishonored has been getting pretty cheap as well. None of those games took off like they thought they would.
It's too bad because like
They're all good too.
They're all good except 76, of course.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Dishonored 2, Evil Within 2, and Prey are like all like hella good. Like I would recommend all of those games.
Yeah, Prey is like Prey 2017 is like a proper System Shock 3. And it's like that is a wonderful game. I love it.
Everyone was just asking for Skyrim 6, but instead Todd Howard sold Skyrim to Microsoft for $7.5 billion. So,
and what have you done with your life lately?
You know, I really hope Todd Howard isn't secretly a bad person because I've kind of come to like him over the years. And I don't want to have another "Don't Meet Your Heroes" moment.
And everyone is secretly a bad person.
Okay, yeah.
He's definitely a sneaky fuck. Like he's played it off.
That little rat bastard fuck.
Yeah. Microsoft bought Bethesda, and I think this could be a good thing. Because
I think that, you know, this is going to this definitely marked the turning point in the console discussion because like I can't blame anybody for asking, you know, Microsoft where's the output? And it's like it's going to take a couple of years to see some of the output from like the Silver Star Studios they bought, like Obsidian, In Exile. Which, fun fact, Obsidian and In Exile are both made up of the remnants of the same company that made the original Fallout series. So you have two groups of disgruntled children, not children, disgruntled. Is there a word for like to just encapsulate the experience of children who get broken up in a divorce?
Depressed.
I don't know if there's like a term for that, but like I don't know. It's like when Interplay broke up and went bankrupt and they had to sell off the Fallout IP, like half the crew went to In Exile, half the crew went to Obsidian, and now they're at first it was funny when it's like, oh yeah, they've got Obsidian and In Exile. Now they have Obsidian, In Exile, the company that screwed over Obsidian, and the company that took In Exile's baby out behind the shed and brought it back out as Fallout 3. They have every single right to be mad. And now here they all are under the same umbrella.
Mm-hmm. It's going to get interesting in the next couple months. But it is extremely polarizing for Xbox to buy Bethesda.
Oh, yeah.
Because Microsoft now has every right to make all the Fallout and all like anything with the Bethesda title specifically Xbox only. They have full right to do that.
Well, that's what they're doing too.
Are they going to do that for every
Well,
game?
what they said was they said that all future Bethesda, actually I think they even said ZeniMax, because they bought ZeniMax, which was Bethesda's parent company, and that includes id Software, which fun aside to that, John Carmack said that people at ZeniMax had a grudge with him that Microsoft doesn't, so that he wants to go work on his baby again. So that would be cool.
This is gonna get really
But
big.
they said that on a case-by-case basis, they would determine if titles, which otherwise would just be coming to Xbox and PC only, could come to other platforms. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is probably your Fallout 76 upgrades. That is probably your Elder Scrolls Online stuff, because if they have a fan base for Elder Scrolls Online on PlayStation 4 and they're already going to upgrade the game to PlayStation 5, then you have to stop and ask yourself the question, why would they just outright lose money by taking the people that are already paying all sorts of subscription money and whatnot for ESO, that are the diehard whales, and say, no, you got to buy another platform? Well, they probably wouldn't. They'd probably just get mad because these are the diehards, and this game is a service, not just your standard single player title. So this is an ongoing revenue stream.
I think
that's the type of stuff you'll see as multiplats. Like that's why Minecraft is still on every platform in the world.
Yeah, I think what's gonna be like the like what's gonna be like what like determines whether or not they're gonna go through with the exclusivity of it is when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, because they did tease that not too long ago. I forget, maybe it was like the last E3, I think, last year.
Something like that, yeah.
When that game gets more information released, and they're either gonna say this is Xbox and PC only, or they're gonna say it's all platform, and that's gonna be like what decides it for the next like maybe like a decade.
You know what I think is going to be very interesting is going to be they said that Bethesda will operate semi-independently. What I want to know, yes, semi-independently. What I want to know,
next game is going to come out a buggy fucking mess, because I hope it doesn't.
That's the thing. That's the thing. When they say semi-independently, I hope they are going to step in on QA. I have this deep sinking feeling in the back of my head that they won't. But I feel like if they just go in and say, we're going to put you through a Microsoft QA process. Well, actually, let's specify Xbox QA process, because mainline Microsoft QA process I could sit here for 7 hours talking to you about. Let me put it this way. When I updated my PC to the latest Windows update, I hit the start button, and I went to go type for search. The search pops up, and it's full screen. Why is it full screen? I close search. I go to search again. It's not full screen anymore. I go to search a third time. It's full screen again. What's happening? I restart my PC. All these issues are gone. Mainline Microsoft QA is kind of a mess. But the Xbox guys do have their stuff together, and they are going to put effort in.
Yeah.
Other thing I'm wondering, does that mean they're finally going to make Bethesda stop using Gamebryo?
That is a very likely thing.
Wait, what?
God, I hope so.
What's that?
That's the engine they've been using.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's what the engine is called?
Okay, so Bethesda has a customized version of Gamebryo that they call the Creation Engine. Now, here's the thing about Gamebryo. Gamebryo has not gotten, as far as I am aware, any official release in years because their website still advertises Xbox 360 compatibility.
Hell yeah.
It's like the same 5 games. Like the past 5 mainline games they've had was the same fucking engine.
Well, here's the best part. They put Fallout 76 on Gamebryo and quickly realized... Well, it's like... They quickly realized Gamebryo is not made to do this, especially when they've already hacked it apart and customized it. And they were like, yeah, we're going to make a modern Surface game on this. And you just like immediately hear the fire in the back room.
Yeah, we made a mainline, we made a brand new Fallout game, Fallout 76. You get to launch nukes in it. Guess what? If you launch a nuke, it crashes the fucking server. Have fun.
It didn't crash the server whenever me and Andy played it.
Yeah, but you know what? It made me want to crash a car.
A lot of other people.
What ended up happening is I got stuck on a crafting bench and I couldn't get off of it for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's like it's time. It's time to shoot the dog.
That's the thing about 76 is that they keep trying to say it's good now, but it's really not.
Oh my God, I got into not like a whole argument, I guess, but like my other friend group, like a lot of them were playing Fallout 76 for a while. They were like trying to tell me that it was good now, and I was like, no, like just because they added NPCs doesn't mean it's any better than it used to be. And they got really mad at that, and I thought it was funny.
The storyline's really bad too.
I don't play Fallout anymore.
At least I think of it this way though with regards to Fallout. Regardless of what anybody does to the license, New Vegas will always be there. And that's kind of all I need from that series. Like I like Fallout 1 and 2, but I can't get into them. They're neat games.
Second.
They're neat games, but I do genuinely want to see like the word streamlined has so many bad connotations to it now. But I would love to see an updated version of Fallout 1, maybe with like, classic versions of the HD graphics, but more importantly than that, a user interface that is actually usable in the 21st century. That'd be
I know what
nice.
you're talking about. The one thing that I found funny from like Fallout 1 and 2 was like the broken bone system or whatever it was.
I like that system.
Where you have like if you're on one side of the map from like the doctor, which is on the other side of the map, you have to walk, but like nothing in the game ever tells you this. You have to look it up. You're just kind of walking, and that's
Get a
about.
doctor's bag, man.
I need a medic bag. I never could play Fallout. I just didn't. It never clicked with me. I liked Elder Scrolls a lot more. That was a lot funner for me.
Yeah, some people prefer the fantasy element versus.
Yeah, I just like the fact that like you could just shoot lightning out of one hand and fire out of the other. It made you feel like a fucking god on Earth. Especially when the VR came out for Skyrim. Oh,
I have to say, when you guys are like comparing like Fallout and Elder Scrolls, that makes me think. It's really funny to me that Obsidian announced Avowed, which is set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, and is very clearly their answer to not being able to make an Elder Scrolls game. And then Microsoft just goes out and buys the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I guess we're working on this now.
Which also makes it funnier to me that one of their mainline first-party titles this year is Wasteland 3. Great game, love it. But Wasteland, the original game, came out in the 1980s, and they lost the rights to Wasteland. So they went and made Fallout. Then they lost the rights to Fallout, got the rights to Wasteland, and made Wasteland 2. And then it's this unending cycle of the same crew that once worked on Wasteland and Fallout is just kind of like cursed to circle in the same cycle of game IPs for the rest of their lives on this in this mortal coil.
Yeah.
And I feel like eventually, if Brian Fargo were to have a heart attack and tragically pass away, he would wake up and the first thing he would see, oh no, it's a DOS terminal. Oh no, I've got to develop Wasteland again. I can't escape.
You can tell Andy is smarter than me because he actually knows the name of some of the people that work on these games, and I don't.
I'm in the industry, baby.
I like to play Skyrim 4, 5, and I can't wait for Skyrim 6 to come out. Have you played Skyrim Online?
Okay. This is very funny to me. This is very funny to me because, like, okay, Trey, let me say this.
There he is.
There's a journalist working for The Verge, Tom Warren, and yesterday while describing the deal, because Tom Warren is a weird fellow, I'll leave it at that, without getting into personal insults, because I know I can go down that slippery slope very easy, especially when I see a face as punchable as his.
Please
do. He put out a list of all the things Microsoft got from the ZeniMax acquisition, and he was like, yes, they got Fallout, they got the Elder Scrolls, they got Skyrim. And it's like, no, those last two, those are the same thing. Those are the same thing. Those are the same thing, Tom.
Well,
Yes.
considering Skyrim has been like, how long has that game been out? Like just the first game.
Skyrim has been out for like 8 years now, I think. No, not
Yeah,
9.
probably.
2011.
9 years. 9 years.
Game has been out, okay, almost 9 years with November, right? So like 8 and almost 9, right?
Mhm.
9 years, and there's like 10 re-releases. Like,
I mean,
Not
It
a-
just keeps printing money.
yeah.
It really is, because it's a very fun game.
To
And
be
everyone's like,
fair,
Oblivion
people
is the
keep
best.
buying it as well.
I use-
So.
I mean, I can't blame them. I
Oblivion-
joke about it, but I don't have anything against Skyrim. I just think it's not as good as Oblivion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that everyone is like, Oblivion is the best in the series, and then Skyrim
Oh
comes
no, I like Morrowind better.
2 years.
It's like here's the split between and I'm going to collectively refer to this as the in-group opinion and the popular opinion. And this is something that's like the in-group opinion, and this is not just our group. This is not just any group I've been associated with in the past. This is kind of a big thing that whenever you have a group of people, there is a 25% chance that they are going to end up as the Oblivion guys. And it's gonna and you're gonna do so much as say Skyrim, and this was more prevalent like in forums years ago. But you do so much as say Skyrim, and the first was probably as well. Oblivion was better, so Skyrim's bad. Bethesda's bad, and my internet wife is real.
Trey,
And so then you go to the popular opinion, and the popular opinion is the polar opposite of that. It is just Skyrim's pretty good. I have fun. I get to shout Fuzz Rodan to my Kinect, and my Kinect goes beep boop womp it up.
I get to marry an orc, and we have children.
Yeah, with the right mods.
I literally built a house for my orc wife, and we fucked on every surface possible.
Thank you for this information, Trey.
Yes.
But,
if you didn't, you're a coward.
know is that if they're making what is the Xbox Series S and X?
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna make like Skyrim 4K
Yes.
in like a couple months?
That is Todd Howard's first personal project. Though
How much is
it won't be
is it getting
4K though. It won't. It runs on 4K at the One X already. So for the series, it's going to be
Isn't it-
Skyrim 8K 120 FPS.
Oh my god. What is that console coming out? It's like soon, right?
November 10th. The PlayStation
Jesus.
5 is like 2 days later.
How much are those? Are they
So
okay?
the
Are they going to
Series S?
shit
Series
with
S
the
is
disc?
Okay, so Series S is $299 and does not have a disk drive. It targets 144p. No wait, no 1440p.
144p.
Microsoft announces the Xbox Series DOS.
Oh,
yes.
shit.
Install your games through a floppy disk.
Just that clip of AVGN, 64-bit, 16-bit, 8-bit, 4-bit, and you can't hear him by the end. It's like half bit. It's just
No, it's
14.
yeah, 1440p, 60 FPS with the option to go up to 120 FPS in some games like Gears 5, and that's going to be the Series S, and it's going to have no disk drive. It's going to be digital only, which is more acceptable with Game Pass, but I still am not going to buy it because I own a lot of games on disc.
Yeah.
Even if I don't
'cause
buy as much physical anymore, one of the selling points of the Xbox ecosystem for me is backcompat, and I own original Xbox games that I can still use, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm going to keep that around, you know?
considering that they've moved a lot of shit to PC, I feel like they're just gonna keep them on the same level. I don't even know why they're selling a console at this point. Honestly, they should just move everything to PC.
No, I'm going to disagree heavily here, because if they decided to move everything to PC, I would not be able to afford to continue to play new games with good graphics.
Okay.
It's
All right,
like that's
just
the
for
thing. That's the thing. Here's the thing: $500 for a system that can target 8K 120 FPS, but usually 4K 120 FPS, and supports ray tracing on the hardware side without much impact to performance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or I could pay $500 for the new NVIDIA graphics card that I would need to buy a new power supply, new motherboard, probably new processor to go along with it. And you know, while I'm at it, I probably should buy some RAM upgrades. Got to put another couple $100 into there. I would end up spending like maybe $1,500.
Yeah.
I would spend $1,000 more dollars. That is
You know-
why consoles aren't going to die.
I think that's a very good point. And I feel I neglected the fact of like the casual consumer,
That too.
right?
That too.
So when you have these games that are coming out that are like 4K, 120 FPS, like best graphics, like, and you have to spend a ridiculous amount of money on a PC to run that at like an acceptable level for what it gives you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, and that's like $1,000, but if you spend $500 on your Xbox 25, whatever, Series X, and that will last you a lot longer than a PC would last you. Honestly, when you really look at it, like consoles last for a really long fucking time
Oh yeah.
compared to PC. Like I said, I still got my PS2, and that thing runs like a fucking beaut. Right, I can still play PS2 games on it. if they aren't
Sadly, my
scratched.
360 doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rest
same.
in
I'm
peace-
with you.
Rest in peace. F in the chat for JT's Xbox.
Also, my
But-
PlayStation 2, the eye that reads the disc melted.
Jesus. Where
What,
were
were
you
you-
gaming? Fucking Mount Doom?
No, I accidentally left it in the car for a day.
Oh.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Um, Like when you look at like these families who are like, oh, Christmas, my son is 8 years old. I'm gonna buy him the new Xbox Series. You know, and like that shit lasts until he's fucking 20. You know, like he's still living in the house playing that shit.
Somebody get him out of here.
like you look at that consumer and it makes sense to keep it how it is.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you compare that to the other consumer, the hardcore gamer that has the best of the best, the new RTX whatever the fuck that just came out that looks like a goddamn fan I would keep on my bedpost to help me sleep at night. There's a very big gap.
And that gap is measured in monitors, for the record.
Exactly. So
I
my
say
point
as
has
I
been
look
made.
suspiciously over at my dual mon setup right now.
My point has been made. If I buy a new Xbox, it will probably be the Series S. It's just cheaper, and it pretty much targets what I want to play, and it'll play everything that the X does, anyways.
Right, they
I
play the
will-
same games. The difference is $200 for a disk drive and higher resolution.
I don't care, right?
Yeah,
my
right.
My TV from 2014 is still flat screen and it still works fine. I will probably buy a PS5 with a bundle of Demon Souls if that ever comes out.
I don't know why it isn't already.
Yeah.
Like,
Nintendo is a very interesting company, and I like Smash Brothers and Pokemon. That's all I have to say.
it's okay, we forgive you.
And Microsoft is going fucking ham right now. Fucking ridiculous.
You know the thing about Microsoft that makes me really interested? Satya Nadella was speaking at Microsoft Ignite today and talking about the ZeniMax buyout, and he said it was the first of many. He says that they're planning to continue to explore acquiring more developers.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I think I actually was just reading that as you were talking.
And it's like he is. I feel like they're gonna go ham.
They are balling right now. Your Honor, Microsoft is fucking balling.
And it's like this is putting them in a really good position. I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of bad vibes still left over from the Xbox One, which are all well deserved, for the record. They did a lot to fix up the Xbox One. Yeah, sure. But also then there was
I get fucking everything that's been coming out recently.
yeah. And it's like I like my Xbox One X a lot. I think it's probably like okay, when it comes to games played in its time, maybe it's not the best of this generation, but I think overall it's like I can pop in my original Xbox disc for Black, which is a great first-person shooter that got forgotten.
Can you say that again? What was the name of it?
Black.
Cool. Okay. Let's continue.
I didn't chew my words, Trey.
I'm sorry. It's just
it's a very punchy first-person shooter, though. Great game, and it never got a PC version. I can play that at 4K on my Xbox by just popping the disc in.
Is it spelled how it sounds?
Yeah, just BLACK. It was developed by the same team that made the Burnout games, for the record. And it's
I didn't even know that.
yeah. And when developing it, they decided to kind of they treated the Burnout games as a complete focus on the fantasy of driving a car. And Black is that same philosophy to the fantasy of being a Black Ops soldier sent in with a bunch of guns. And so because of that, every single gun in that game has an insane amount of detail put into the animation and how punchy they feel and the sound design. It's really good. What I'm saying here is until I can play Black on any other console, they're not worth it.
I typed in Black Xbox 360 and it just showed the
Black Xbox 360.
Yeah, damn it.
This game was released before SEO was a thing.
Okay. Well, interesting to say the least.
But when it comes to all these video games that are coming out for these systems, it's like a launch day title is, again, as previously mentioned, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Now, eventually, we have to stop and ask ourselves the question, what else did the Devil May Cry team develop?
Nothing. make
Yeah,
anything.
no, nothing of note.
There is nothing. Andy, they didn't make anything at all ever.
Yeah, nothing,
Yeah.
especially nothing that got any Netflix adaptation.
No, they've never had a Netflix adaptation ever.
You know
no,
what?
there was the one exception actually. No, because there was Dragon's Dogma, and that got an anime.
Mm-hmm. This is
Kinda
this is
fucked up.
this is our segue. This is our segue.
This is our segue because you motherfuckers been chatting. God damn.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I told you. I told you you would regret having me on.
no, it's good. It's good. I'm like, I'm just bugging you. It's fine. Because I was looking at these show notes and I was like, shit, I don't have many hot opinions about much of this, so I'm glad you're here. But yeah, the Dragon's Dogma anime is out now. Andy and I have watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming the other two that are here, who won't be named, didn't watch it.
Their names are on the screen, Scott. You can't get around this.
No, but I won't say them anymore because they didn't watch it. They're now exclusively referred to as them. with like a capital T.
But yeah, Dragon's Dogma, the game that like completely surprisingly got an announcement for a Netflix original.
Yeah, it's had like a really like strong like cult fan base since it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't think any of us were expecting it to get a fucking anime.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
And we did. And we have some opinions about it.
Yeah. So when we last talked about this on the duo episode the two of us did, where we talked about like 3D animation and the qualities required for that to be good for like a solid hour.
Yeah, just a little chat.
So go on, Trey.
I don't like 3D animes. Honestly,
I tend to not, but this is kind of pushing me in the direction that I do like.
There was a strong gust of wind pushing me when I watched this. And that's only two people are gonna understand that.
The wind is pushing me.
I'm watching the official trailer and it's just like, oh, he's an angry boy.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Trailers for everything are shitty, but anyway, yeah.
I guess
Andy, you watched it pretty freshly, so I guess I'll let you like lead. Like
okay, sure,
it's pretty short, so I remember most of it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's like roughly only like 2.5 hours long or something like that. It's a very, very short show, and a lot of that is because they wrote it around a gimmick entirely.
Yeah.
But I guess we should kind of go in order of importance here, and the most important thing to say is this is just based off of the premise of Dragon's Dogma, and not much beyond that.
Okay, real quick, there's something else that's important. I have to take a piss, so I'll be right back.
Thank you, Trey, for this information.
Good luck. And
wish you luck on your quest.
We'll see you in approximately a minute and 25 seconds if your last piss is anything to remember. I don't count. Anyway, but yeah, anyway, yeah, it's based on it in that like the premise is the same. A dragon destroys a village, takes the main character's heart, and then he has to go and kill the dragon and get his heart back. There's pawns. Well, actually, there's one pawn. You literally only ever see Hannah. Other pawns are mentioned, like I think episode 2, the big fat motherfucker.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, I like pawns. They never really have much to say or whatever the fuck, right? Like
right. So they're known about in the world, but they don't say much beyond that because they don't have much time to say much beyond that.
Yeah, because they decided to go with the gimmick. I love saying gimmick. Of every episode is one of like the 7 deadly sins or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like every episode is based around a theme. So the easiest one is lust, right?
Yeah, less said about that, the better.
Yeah, that episode is exactly what you think it is.
It's the weakest of the show.
It is pretty easily. I don't like episode 3 very much.
Episode 3 is also pretty bad, but you know what?
But at least it's not 10 minutes.
Yeah. And it's like, it had some pretty good moments. Like, when out of absolutely nowhere, Pro Jared kills his wife epic style.
That was... I love that we're just gonna call him Pro Jared now.
I mean, he looks the part, he acts the
He
part.
acts the part.
If anybody out there watches Dragon's Dogma because of this, I just want you to know, look out for the guy in episode 3 that looks like Pro Jared. Go tell me on Twitter. I'm at Bennett Blogs on Twitter. My name's on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm having a stroke. On the screen.
On the screen.
Scott's is also on the screen. You feel free to add
Yeah.
us.
Oh yeah. You
Add
can
us both
absolutely
and
at
tell
me.
us, does he look like Pro Jared or not? Okay?
You can at
No.
me and then at Pro Jared and be like, hey, these guys were talking shit, and I'd be like, yeah, motherfucker, what are you gonna do about it? So like, you can just go right ahead and do that.
I mean,
But,
I feel like Scott could beat up Pro Jared, so like, yeah, definitely tag both Scott and Pro Jared in tweets and be like, hey, you guys are both famous YouTubers. Like,
starting beef with Pro Jared. Okay, we're getting a bit sidetracked.
That's how we get viewers.
Is Pro Jared still making videos?
I don't
Yeah.
know, and I
Yeah.
don't care.
Okay, no,
he
we're
still
not.
has a lot of people.
The last time I saw him, he looked like he just got back from like a night of drinking. Like he was like living off of the side of the road.
He's been kind of in like a full
That's,
swing of playing a lot of games. He's been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering.
That's how he's looked for like the last 5 years. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Okay,
Yeah,
Andy,
yeah.
talking about a show.
Okay, real
Alright,
quick,
Andy.
I think.
No.
Real quick,
Yes,
please. The last two, I have not watched shows at all. So learning, it's like hearing this is very nice. The only shows I've watched recently, and when I say recently, I mean in between the past 3 to 4 months, is I watched all of the Waco Netflix thing, which is really good, and I watched the entirety of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, which is the only thing, it was funny. The only thing that actually made me laugh was the scene where it's the Frieza fight, and Goku says, "Now say you're sorry," begins to slap him multiple times. Goku then says, are you sorry now? And then Frieza says, I think I peed a little. That's the only thing that made me laugh.
I don't remember that.
So anyways, the wind is pushing me to continue talking about Dragon's Dogma.
Continue, please.
But you know, with regards to like the 3D animation used in Dragon's Dogma, like I said, this is something that makes me like it a lot more in anime, I think, because this whole show, I would say, is mid, and it's a good kind of mid. But
it has a couple high points.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
like,
it's got
I
really
think
good moments.
the large monsters look a little weird.
Oh yeah, no. It's got an inconsistent art style between the characters and large monsters, because large monsters seem to be rendered using the same renderer as the landscapes, while the characters have their own renderer and lighting style, and it does take me out of it. It's weird.
I know.
It is really weird.
The biggest example, the dragon itself.
Yeah, oh my god, they look at how they massacred my boy. Like,
yeah, it looks horrible.
Just to give you an update, just that with every single 3D anime ever, they do that same shit. The bigger the thing, the more likely it is to just be landscape.
It's so weird.
It's very
It's
weird.
like
That's why I don't like 3D anime.
Well, it's like if it had the same style as characters, it would look fine. The models aren't bad. The textures are all right. It's just so weird to me. I don't know. That was the one thing that took me out of it. But otherwise, I would say that like this is a very good looking show. It's a very well animated show with a couple of rough points with facial expressions from time to time, and like and like small scenes where it's like, you know, two characters close up talking to each other, but it's an aside scene. There are main scenes where it's a focus on a facial expression, and it's an important scene, so they have a lot of detail put into it. And I'm not saying much because spoilers, but
yeah, because
you know what I'm talking about. Towards the very the very end of the show, they go all out with facial animation, and it is full of emotion that you could not get from 2D.
It looked so good that it got like a response out of me emotionally. I was like, oh wait, holy shit, I'm not used to this.
Yeah, no. And one of the benefits,
and not even that, just that scene. I think you know the child in the first episode.
Yeah.
I explicitly say first episode because he gets fucking devoured horribly by a dragon, and that's not a spoiler. That's like in the fucking trailers and shit. But yeah, like his facial animations are also really expressive. It's like, oh, look at this little boy going around having fun. You know, they did that to make it more horrible when he gets bitten by the dragon and screams horribly. Just makes the most horrible mewling noises I've ever heard. But
Yeah.
he's animated very well.
Yeah, well, the whole show. I mean, I would say that like it does have its jagged edges, but
Yeah.
if this is a very mid anime and it looks this good in 3D, I can only imagine how a really really good fully 3D anime would look, and it would probably look a lot like Guilty Gear Xrd.
Oh God, yeah.
And I would say there's times where this kind of comes close. Visually, it's very pretty at times. There were times where like the soundtrack usually isn't there, but there were times where like the animation was on point. The soundtrack, when the soundtrack is there, it was really good, unless it's some ambient stuff. But it sounds great, looks good, and I'm really into it. Especially, I would say episode 2 is maybe the best episode of the whole show.
Episode 2 is really really good.
It's
and
full
like
of that.
like a thing me and you mentioned was that a lot of these episodes seem to have like a horrible tragic twist because they're written into the corner of, well, we got to do 7 deadly sins, right? So like this episode's called Envy, and the whole episode goes pretty well until someone gets envious and does something terrible. Bam, fucking genius, laughing all the way to the bank. But with the second one was Gluttony, right? That was Gluttony.
Yeah, Gluttony.
Yeah, Gluttony had like its twist at the end, like totally made sense, and was like even like kind of foreshadowed. Like I don't like.
Let's put it this way: French Revolution.
Yeah, the villain wasn't right, but he does kind of mention that like what they're doing needs to be done. Sure, he could have done it better, but you know.
Could have done it without child sacrifice, but you know.
Could have done it without that. You could have done it without that. But like it is like because after you know.
And well, that's the thing though about like the way that they write this show is that every episode is like very much its own little compartment, I guess. Yes, you have the overall continuity, but like okay, the premise of the show, just to kind of lay out the premise is okay, this man has to kill this dragon. So instead of like some grand quest where every single episode is, oh, I'm tracking the dragon here or something like that, this show is 7 episodes of, well, actually 6 episodes of Ethan wandering around, running into people and solving almost entirely self-contained stories until in the final episode where he eventually fights the dragon.
Yeah.
That sounds like an actual RPG game where you're just doing a bunch of side.
Actually, yeah, I played.
That is kind of how the game works. If you play it, like, if you just do the dragon stuff and Dragon's Dogma, it really isn't that long.
I will ask real quick, how is the general aesthetic of the show? Does it like when you watch it, do you get like true enjoyment out of it?
Yes,
I would say yes. It is pretty standard fantasy, but I've always liked fantasy.
Well, here's the thing. Dragon's Dogma is standard fantasy, yes. The way the game stood out for me with its gameplay and its combat. And that was what made it memorable for me. Now, the way that the anime stands out in a way that I would say is memorable for me is its characters, because its main cast is just 2 characters with 2 recurring characters that show up in 2 different episodes. But I would even say that like all the side characters are written really well. The whole show.
That girl in Sloth, I forget her name. Like, you know, the girl they meet and then they go into the cave there.
Yeah,
she's fucking great.
Yeah,
I love her.
Is the show over?
It was released all at once.
Quotes.
It's all at once. We don't know if there's going to be a second season or anything.
I doubt it. I very much doubt it. I feel like if they wanted to do a second season, okay. Do we want to mention that this wouldn't lead into the content added with Dark Arisen?
Yeah, it absolutely would not. Because Dark Arisen adds like its own like level called I guess I don't know, level is the way to describe it. Whatever, fuck.
But Bitter Black Isle?
Bitter Black Isle, yeah, where like that whole thing, it has its own story and everything. And like that's not even like mentioned or brought up at all. Right. I kind of thought it would be when they announced it, because I was like, oh, it's 7 episodes, so maybe they'll do like 7-hour-long episodes or something. But no, they're all like 23 minutes, and except for Lust, which is like 18. Sorry, I got sidetracked because real life shit happened right in front of me while I was talking.
A little premature for that Lust.
You're right. It wasn't very long.
Premature ending. I'll see myself out.
But yeah, I would say that overall I did enjoy the show. When it comes to the 3D animation we talk so much about, like I said, it looked pretty good, and there were times where they did things you could not do with 2D animation. There were times where and this happened very rarely.
The opening of Greed,
Yeah, the opening of Greed.
like that
Um,
scene, I think is cool.
yeah. But even in the final episode when Ethan is like rushing at the dragon, um, like that, like how do I put this? I don't think it's a spoiler to say that when he runs at the dragon, the camera does like this 3D pan around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like it looked really good. It was a good, well-directed fight scene. And I said before that like for 3D animation to look good, you need to have a director that knows what he's doing and can do something special for 3D. I don't think that's as true anymore. But I will say that I think in this case, like up until that in the opening of Greed, I was thinking to myself, this seems like pretty standard anime direction. But
Yeah.
once it got to those 2 points, I was like, okay, this is somebody who knows what he's doing, but is held back, but for whatever reason, probably due to the fact that this show I don't think had that high a budget.
Probably not. No.
And it had, so I would say middle of the range production. And at the end of the day, it's a middle of the range show. I would give it a 3 out
Yeah,
of 5.
I genuinely think if you didn't play Dragon's Dogma, you might like it more. I don't know. Like, it's
No.
weird.
If you
No.
were like, if you didn't have the best content, you would like it.
I would say that if I didn't have any
Well, because,
prior experience with Dragon's Dogma, I would probably like it less.
Well, Dragon's Dogma's whole thing is that it gets better after you do the Dragon's Dogma. And so if you go into it thinking, oh, there's so many things they could do, like me, because I played the game for 700 plus hours, and then you go, oh no, it's literally just he walks around and then fights the dragon. It's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But if you're like some like dipshit kid who goes on Netflix, is like, I'm gonna watch this. You can put it on and be like, wow, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I don't know. I do think that. Actually, I think even if you remove all connection to the game, it's still a 3 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's overly good.
Yeah.
It definitely needed to be longer.
Definitely. If they had double length on the episodes, with the exception of episode 6, the less said about that episode, the better, and the
That
less
episode
in
is
that
good.
episode, the better.
That episode is fine. It's just short.
I'm guessing the problem was probably just the budget. From
Absolutely.
what I've heard so far.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like it's a pretty like niche IP, so it's like let's throw a huge fucking budget at this and then have like 30 people watch it. This is literally what just happened with the Dark Crystal or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So like,
Dark
you know,
what
or
what
whatever the
about-
fuck. They got like a Netflix show that was like super high budget and really good, and then nobody watched it, so Netflix canceled it.
Yeah. What? Why did they make it? Have they ever been like, we made this because?
No, it just got announced and it's out.
They just felt like Dragon's Dogma was like something to do.
A lot of people are like, well, like maybe they're working on a sequel because like, Itsuno said he would like to and it's coming out around the time Tokyo Game Show will be going theories.
We'll
and shit,
find out. We'll
but-
find out in 2 days. I mean, Tokyo Game Show, like it technically kicks off tomorrow, but the actual streams of conferences start on the 24th for us.
Yeah.
So we'll find out in 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I would love to see Dragon's Dogma 2.
Me too.
I feel like if you had to ask for a reason, I would say that the people who worked on Dragon's Dogma thought to themselves, wouldn't an anime of this be neat? They threw the idea around, and somebody was like, well, I know a guy that works for Netflix Japan, or just for Netflix, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send that idea to him and say, why don't we work on something Dragon's Dogma related? And they were like, well, okay. And then they do the number crunch, and they're like, this is financially viable. Here's your money.
Yeah.
And I think it could have been something like that. Or it could have just been that they have an agreement with Capcom to produce so many things based on so many different IPs. This happened to be one of them. We'll know if we see Street Fighter the movie too.
But yeah, overall it was I don't know, I liked it.
It was
But
fine.
It's hard to like be like, yeah, check this shit out. You know what
Was
I mean?
it?
It's
You know
like,
what? Was it better than Ready Player One?
Yes.
Yes.
But so was like my prostate cancer diagnosis.
Jesus, wasn't that? I liked it a little bit. Goodness.
Jesus Christ.
Listen. I've told this story before, maybe even on the podcast, but I'll say it again. My town has produced 2 famous people in the past 50 years: the author of Ready Player One and a serial killer. I prefer the serial killer.
Jeez.
Ernest Klein, if you're hearing this, fight me. One-on-one, mano-a-mano. I saw those poems you put up on your website about how you hate everybody else and how you get bullied because you're smarter than them. Listen, buddy, one-on-one. If you're really the master race, come on, buddy, one-on-one. Meet me in the parking lot at the library.
You're talking about this, learning the truth about Scott Pilgrim, and then rediscovering Tails Gets Trolled. I've been finding a lot of media lately.
Tails Gets Trolled. It's a classic.
It's so good.
I read a little bit of it and I was like, I gotta finish this, but I haven't been able to. Just the fucking the first page, that one panel where like he's like making that stupid fucking face. It's just perfect.
Tails Gets Trolled is a classic, and B, kind of stops being funny for me like halfway through because it's just the same joke. But I don't know. At least we got like some golden panels out of it.
Yeah. So how was time prison for you, Shadow? I broke every bone in my body.
What?
You'll read Tails Get Trolled one day. Tails Gets Trolled one day.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
I don't know. I don't know if I ever want to be anywhere near any type of.
I just DM'd you, Andy. I had to look at that Scott Pilgrim thing, and I was like, just fucking.
Don't go talking about the things that I pass around on air. We can't have them know that I share things with people.
Literally, the fucking image I sent right above that is pretty much just racist. So we don't.
Wait, which one did you send me? Should I bring this up on stream?
You can't.
I'm canceling you live on air, Trey.
I'm getting canceled. It's just this image of like.
Trey, I don't remember what this is, but you can probably stop talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim.
I'm gonna look to see what this actually was. What was?
It's funny.
Christ.
You know, you can't get canceled for that, but you can get. I mean, I can call the horny police on you.
That's not. You can't do that.
Too late.
I was just looking. It's like that fucking Scott Pilgrim strip. You mean you're gonna stop being a high school? I'll be so far away from all my friends, but I feel like this is the right thing to do. You're 18, and then like the next thing it says, "Do you want to have sex? I think we should have sex, casual sex."
Hold on a second.
Yeah, people tend to not get the idea that Scott Pilgrim is a bad person, and then Brian Lee O'Malley, the author, just kind of like lays it out as brutally as he can. That yes, Scott Pilgrim is a bad person.
Yeah, it's just because
and they're still like no Scott Pilgrim's cool. Scott Pilgrim's a cool guy. It's like no, he's not. This comic opens with Scott Pilgrim is dating a high school girl. He's a bad guy.
It's just because the movie came out and he's played by that nerdy guy. What the
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera, yeah.
That guy has a punchable face. Michael Cera, like I could fucking beat up Michael Cera and be fine with it.
Trey, I want you to know how happy I am to have you back on the show.
Like,
Please
I mean,
never leave
honestly, like I would deck Michael Cera the instant I saw him. Honestly, that's like my dream.
Yeah,
like, I got to like to do. For stars to meet. Like, I want to meet Jennifer Lopez to talk about what kind of like how she cooks Mexican. I want Chris Evans to just ravage my asshole. And I want Punch to just fucking punch Michael Cera in the face. Like, that's my 3 things I want to do.
I can't really blame you.
Well, I think this is our outro. I don't know how to follow this up.
Fucking square up, Michael Cera.
Like, honestly,
we start the show talking about the PlayStation 5. We end the show talking about how much Trey wants to beat up Michael Cera
and have gay anal sex with Chris Evans.
Yeah. Okay. So Jordan out. Jordan.
I'm gonna call it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't stay here any longer.
Oh, I could go all night.
Well,
I could do this all day.
Everybody say their good nights because I don't.
Good night.
Well,
good night.
I hope you all have
everyone.
A good night.
Peace out.
At least turn Dragon's Dogma on and have it stream so they get the numbers. Thank you.
Yeah, do that. Do that. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. This was a really fun show. Later.
Yeah, welcome back, Trey.